Now that you've created your ActiveInspire account, you now have access to all of the information and tools on ActiveInspire. So I'm actually going to go over these buttons first. So this button is used to create a new flip chart. This is used to open a flip chart from the past. This is the import button. This is where you can import lessons as a PDF, Smart Notebook, or import a PowerPoint. So one thing about the Smart Notebook upload is that you're going to go to your downloads or wherever you have your Smart Notebook files, open them. They're going to download, and as you can see, they're just like they were when you use them with Smart Notebook. The only thing is that there might be a few bars and other things that you may need to adjust before really using it. So just go through and make sure that all your stuff is in the correct place and that all of your items lined up correctly. Going back to home, there's also this activities bar. The activities are actually really fun and you can upload them into your flip chart, and they are super cute and interactive with the board. You can use categories, crosswords, flashcards. These remind me a lot of the flashcard sets within McGraw-Hill. Labeled diagrams for students to match up each part that should be on the diagram. Matching cards, memory games, sequencing, timeline, Venn diagram. This one's useful. I've actually used it in my class. And word searches. And of course these word searches are on the board, so no need to annotate over a PDF file or anything like that anymore. You could just go ahead and create the word search within there. You can also open some from the past or look at recent ones that you've created, just like that. The other tools are the tools that you typically see on your smartboard and are already on there. So annotate and timer, those are the normal ones like I said. So this menu right here is going to show you any files that you've recently viewed within the Flipchart system. You can also learn more about different ways to use ActiveInspire, look at tutorials, all that kind of stuff. It's going to send you to a web page actually, just like this. And it gives you tutorials on how to create the lessons that you see in front of you. I've actually gone through some of these videos and they were super helpful at creating aesthetically pleasing and effective lessons that I know my students are going to love. You can also insert the timer, like I said, right into the flip chart, which makes it super easy to use. Another little item on this that I think is overlooked is the resource library. So once you click on this link, it's going to ask you to re-log in and all that kind of stuff. But for me, since I've been in it recently, it's already up. This is the ActiveInspire library. This is where teachers have uploaded lessons that they've used and created for you to use. You can sort these by rating, subject, grade, language that it's in, the file type, and when it was added. So I'm just going to go ahead and click on 3rd grade because that's what we are. And as you can see, there's all these math lessons that have already been created for you that you don't have to make. They also each come with descriptions and all of that. So compare line plots. Taking a minute to load. But once it's loaded, normally they're going to give you a little menu where you can look through the PowerPoint and just kind of see what's going on. You can also download the resource. So one that I saw earlier was I chose English. They're uploaded frequently, so you have to kind of look through the list and make sure that you heart any of the ones that you really like. So an alligator pie poem, someone uploaded this little alligator pie up here probably to make sure that students are familiar with the poem. They blank out words and students have to fill them in, and they teach the concept of rhyming. There's so many resources on here, you just have to look through. Someone's already created a resource with a game that's a word bladder and all that kind of stuff. The only downside is that you don't know what curriculum they're using, so it can be a little bit tricky there. Now that we've done a general overview of ActiveInspire homepage, let's go ahead and get started by creating a new flip chart. So I'm going to go over some tools that I think you'll find useful. However, there are tons of resources in the Promethean library on YouTube. So they actually have their own YouTube page where they upload videos and all that kind of stuff for you to look at. There's so many things that you can learn about this. It's just overwhelming, but these are the basics. So this is the select tool where you select items that you put on a page. The draw tool, which of course does what you think it does. Draw. Just like that. The erase tool, where you can erase what you've drawn. Shapes. This is the shape selection area. You can choose any of these colors to fill in the shape. You can choose lines, zigzags, V's, all that kind of stuff. There's so many shapes. There's even more using this button right here. And you can just upload them just like that. Use the select tool to move them around, resize them, animate them, and so much more. Some other tools are the photo upload tool, so you can upload photos to here. If you want to insert a specific background, this is where you can do it, and all that kind of stuff. Another tool I mentioned is the fill tool. So if I wanted to fill this background in with yellow, I can fill it just like that. Fill it in with white. Also, something I didn't mention on the pen tool is this is where you can change the size of the pen. You can even make it way bigger and go all the way up to this. Undo, of course. Redo, of course. You can also clear any annotations, objects, anything that you have on the page. So I'm just going to start fresh. Text tool, where you can insert text, and again, you can move it all around, do whatever you need with it. I know something I saw people do with a lot of these tools in their Smart Notebook files is that they would use the typing tool on Smart Notebook and then cover it up with these, and that would allow you to move shapes and objects anywhere around, and students would even be able to do that on their own. So there's some more tools in the tools section where you can see them exactly. Magic Ink is actually a really fun way for students to write on a document, and you can keep it there or you can choose to get it off. That was a feature in Smart Notebook, but I feel like it would just kind of automatically do it for you at the end when you would choose to save it or not. There's also the Revealer tool that, just like in Smart Notebook, where you can hide a slide completely and slowly reveal it as you move it down. There's also a camera, a spotlight for you to highlight things. I know one of the lessons on here actually used this tool for students to do kind of like a search and find around the page. So they would just take this and move it around and look for letters or math equations and stuff like that to make a game out of it. Let me clear that before it gets out of hand. And then you can also use all kinds of different stuff, insert equations, connections, timestamps, and you can even launch Active View where you can view the lesson as it would be presented on the Promethean board. Other math tools such as a ruler, you can automatically use that on the page. Close that. You can change the angle of it, all this kind of stuff. And again, this is all completely movable in a lesson unless you choose to make it where it is set on the page. Another tool I thought that was interesting in this was the dice roller, because I feel like that's something like you don't want to just go and grab a dice really quick, and I feel like we do a lot of roll and records and activities like that, and this would just make it easier to do something like that on your Promethean board. There's also so many different ways for you to, it uses AI to recognize handwriting and all that kind of stuff, so that when students write something, if it's a little bit not the best handwriting, as we know that some third graders have, it will automatically snap and change the handwriting immediately. And you can even use something called an express poll. So this is something that you can upload yes, no, like how did you guys feel about it? all that kind of stuff. And those are super cute to use within the lesson itself. Just a quick little like assessment, nothing big, just easy. When you're done with one, you're going to go ahead and click File, Save As. You can save it to your computer, but even when you save it to your computer, it's going to save it to your Flipchart library as well. And I can go ahead and close this one. Just save it like that. And all those tools are exactly what I was showing you and trying to tell you in the PowerPoint. Now, please go ahead with the PowerPoint using your new Active Inspire lesson and tools. Go ahead and try to make your own lesson using the instructions on the PowerPoint that I've given you. And those are going, and look at the images and see if you did it right or if we had a little bit of a different way of doing it. Just a fun way to self-assess yourself and get familiar with Active Inspire. Have fun!